Society hates single men, and they will always hate single men. And it's very simple. It's very easy to grasp and comprehend. A man that is single most of the time, of course, I'm generalizing here, of course, not for every young single man and every individual, but for the vast majority, single means time to focus on yourself. Single means embarking on self improvement. Single means saving your money and not chasing frivolous pursuits. Single means you can become the man that you're supposed to be, the best version of yourself, building a dynasty. That's what single means most of the time. But society doesn't want that. Why? Why would society want you to become the best version of yourself? Because it makes perfect sense. They don't want strong, independent, young, masculine men strolling around in public. Of course they don't. They want young, little, impressionable men cuddled up in relationships, constantly spending money, keeping the economy going, pussy whipped. That's exactly what they want. Now, I do want to stress this video isn't designed to shit on women. Absolutely not. I love women. I think they're one of the best things in life. This video isn't for that. I'm just saying there are a lot of young men that are getting into relationships because it fits the agenda, it fits the narrative. They feel peer pressure to get into it. Society wants you to be in a relationship where you really can't afford it. Think about it this way, and we see this happen on numerous occasions. You get into a relationship, you have a girlfriend. You're not head over heels for her. You don't find her 10-10, but she's relatively good looking, and your friends are in relationships as well. You're spending money that you don't really want to be spending, that you could be channeling elsewhere. And let's say hypothetically your friend takes her missus to the Amalfi Coast in Italy, for example, Lake Como or south of France, Saint-Tropez, Monaco, and your missus is witnessing this on Instagram, on social media. She might accept not going for one or two times, but after a while she's going to start nudging you and saying, Kem, Richards, when are we going to go to Lake Como? When are we going to go to Munich? When are we going to go to see the Northern Lights in Scandinavia? And all of a sudden you're fishing out money where you just don't, as a young man, you don't have the money to do that. You haven't got the resources. Yeah, you could take credit cards, you can take credit cards out and take loans out. And yeah, technically now you could afford it, but that's only going to hinder you and halt your progress. Eventually she's going to be envious. She's going to want to go to the Amalfi Coast, and you're going to have to start spending a lot of money just to keep her happy, to maintain her. As a young man, it's one of the worst places to be. As I said, if you're in a financial position to take out women, if you're in a financial position where you've got your shit together, you're physically in shape, mentally you're prepared for a relationship, you've matured enough, you've got the finances, your career's on track, fantastic. Fantastic. I encourage. But for the vast majority of men, you're not in that position. And that's why society, they force you to get into relationships. Society hates single men because most of the time it means that you're sorting your shit out. That's not what they want. As I said at the start of this video, they don't want young, masculine, independent men roaming around the city. That's not what they want, because it goes against their agenda. They want weak, feminine men that are cuddled up in relationships, constantly spending money that they really and truly can't afford, wasting time. Instead of going to the gym, they're going to be sat there on a Sunday morning, cuddled up in bed, and they're going to avoid the gym. They're going to go to the gym less. They're going to start spending less time on themselves where they're supposed to be. Your early 20s, your mid 20s are times where you should be grinding and focusing on yourself. This isn't the time to get loved up and cuddled up and go into relationships, because if you get into a relationship hypothetically at age 18 or 21, 22, 25, whatever, and you think, oh my God, this is the love of my life, etc. There's a reason why relationships under the age of 30, there's a reason why vast majority fail and end up in divorce. It's because as you age, you both grow in separate ways. You both find different things that you're interested in. Your interests grow apart. You as individuals, as a man and woman, you just grow apart. And that's why relationships capitulate and fall apart. So you've just spent the best part of a decade investing time, energy, and money. For what? For what? That time that could have been, and this is where opportunity cost comes in. That time when it could have been spent on yourself, focusing on yourself, grinding on your career, your study, and your business, your sporting endeavors, whatever endeavor it is, you've just wasted your time. Now, again, this is not me being anti-relationships. anti-woman. Absolutely not, because everyone's circumstance is different. But I'm generalizing here. Society doesn't want you to be single. That's why they demonize men. That's why they demonize specifically single men, because you're going against the grain. They don't want you to be successful. And a lot of the time, to be successful, you have to embark on this lonely path of self-improvement where you take out the time to focus on yourself. It's very difficult to do that in a relationship because you're going to have to keep her happy. She wants to go out on a Saturday night. Whereas the other guy that's single, he's grinding on a Saturday night. Do you see the difference here? You want to go to the gym Sunday morning, your missus wants to cuddle in bed. Prime example, it's very hard to have a relationship and really grind at the same time. Single means most of the time that you're focusing on yourself and you're grinding. Being in a relationship, it's so arduous, it's so difficult to do. And a lot of people don't actually understand this. And that's why you see propaganda all the time. You see social media, dating apps cropping up. You see it in newspapers, in articles, even random people, society, average, mediocre people constantly ask you, have you got a missus? Have you got a girlfriend? When are you settling down? Because they've been brainwashed. It's been ingrained. You as a man, as I said, and I highly advocate this, highly recommend this, especially if you're in your late teens, early 20s, mid 20s. Focus on yourself, especially if your career is not on track. Now, if your career is on track, your finances are in place, you're in good shape, you've taken a time out most likely for a few years on your own, and you've really grafted and focused and grinded, then again, don't take this advice because you're clearly in a position to have a missus. And most likely you probably do have a missus because you've built yourself up to a level. You've elevated yourself into the upper echelons where you're able to attract that caliber of woman. But for the vast majority of you, you're not in that position. And so my advice to you wouldn't be to rush into any sort of relationship. Don't listen to society when they say, oh, you have to settle down, you have to get a missus, because if you haven't sorted your shit out, where are you going? Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. There's nowhere for you to go. You have to focus on yourself. You have to. Every successful man, if you look at every single multi-millionaire entrepreneur for a specific period of their life, they were single. It didn't really matter what age, but there was a single part of their life where they got the most work done, where they sorted their shit out. But society doesn't want you to do this. Society will demonize young men and tell them, no, you must get into a relationship, you must have a girlfriend, you must have a missus, because they want you to be distracted. They don't want you to be focused on your craft, on your mission. It's very hard to be focused on your mission when you've got women in bed all the time, when you're constantly spending time with them, feminine, loved up. These are all amazing things, but everything is about timing. And gentlemen, your time isn't now to be pursuing women constantly. Your time now is to put your head down and get the shit done. Sort your life out. Your life is not where it needs to be. But society won't tell you this because society wants the opposite. They don't want independent, masculine young men roaming around a city. That's exactly what they don't want. Society hates young single men. I always say, if you do what everyone else does, you're going to get their results. If you want extraordinary results, you can't do ordinary activities. It's really that simple. I know it's self-explanatory. I know it's very common and cliche. We've heard that all the time, but it really is true. And I hope I've really hammered home this message for you guys. I hope it's something of value that you can take forward into your life that you can implement. If you did enjoy, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I'll see all of you guys for my next video. Peace.